breakfast cereal seems innocent. A bowl of crunchy goodness, a splash of milk. But for Canadians over 50, hidden dangers lurk in that colorful box. Cancer-linked pesticides. Sodium bombs disguised as heart-healthy choices. Some cereals spike your blood pressure and strain your kidneys. Today, we expose 9 Canadian cereal brands to avoid, and 2 that are actually worth your trust. Coming in at number 9, we have got Quaker Oats cereal. You see that familiar red and blue packaging every time you walk down the cereal aisle. The smiling Quaker man with his old-fashioned hat. For decades, Quaker promised wholesome, heart-healthy oats to Canadian families from coast to coast. They positioned themselves as the trustworthy breakfast choice. Simple ingredients, natural goodness, the kind of cereal your grandmother would approve of, the kind she probably served to your parents when they were children. But here's what Quaker never wanted you to know. In January 2024, the Canadian Food Inspection Agency issued a major recall on Quaker brand granola bars and cereals due to salmonella contamination. This was not some minor labeling issue or a precautionary measure. This was a Class 1 recall, the most serious kind, meaning there was a reasonable probability of serious health consequences. Seniors are especially vulnerable to salmonella. For someone over 50, particularly those with compromised immune systems or chronic conditions, a salmonella infection can quickly become life-threatening. We are talking fever, severe cramping, bloody diarrhea lasting 4 to 7 days. In some cases, hospitalization becomes necessary, and recovery can take weeks, but contamination is just the beginning of the Quaker story. Independent testing by the Environmental Working Group found glyphosate, the active ingredient in Roundup weed killer, in virtually every Quaker oat product tested. One sample of Quaker oatmeal squares contained 2,837 parts per billion of glyphosate, nearly 18 times higher than what scientists consider safe for children. The International Agency for Research on Cancer classifies glyphosate as a probable human carcinogen. That means the same stuff farmers spray on fields to kill weeds could be sitting in your cereal bowl every single morning while you read your newspaper and sip your coffee. For seniors managing blood pressure or taking heart medication, this is especially concerning. Your body processes toxins more slowly as you age. What builds up over time can silently damage your liver and kidneys without you ever noticing until the damage is done. And Quaker knew about these pesticide residues for years. They simply chose profits over your protection. Isn't it strange how billion-dollar food companies keep having recalls, yet their products are still on every shelf in every grocery store across Canada? At number 8, we have Honey Nut Cheerios. That little bee on the box has become iconic in Canadian households. The promise of being heart-healthy. General Mills spent millions upon millions convincing Canadians that Honey Nut Cheerios could lower cholesterol and improve cardiovascular health. They even got the Heart and Stroke Foundation's stamp of approval. You trusted them with your morning routine. Your doctor might have even suggested them as part of a heart-healthy breakfast. Here is the betrayal that nobody talks about. In 2022, the FDA released updated guidelines on what constitutes a healthy breakfast cereal. Their new standard requires cereals to contain no more than 2.5 grams of added sugar and 230 milligrams of sodium per serving to qualify as healthy. Honey Nut Cheerios contains 12 grams of added sugar per serving. That is nearly 5 times the new healthy limit. Think about that for a moment. A cereal marketed specifically for heart health contains enough sugar to potentially harm your heart with every bowl you consume. But sugar is only part of the problem hiding in that yellow box. Testing by the Environmental Working Group found glyphosate in regular Cheerios at 147 parts per billion. The toasted whole grain oat version tested even higher at 729 parts per billion. Honey Nut Cheerios Medley Crunch hit a staggering 833 parts per billion, more than 5 times the level scientists consider protective for long-term health. For seniors with diabetes or prediabetes, that 12 grams of sugar can cause dangerous blood glucose spikes first thing in the morning. For those managing high blood pressure, the sodium content adds to daily totals that strain your cardiovascular system throughout the day. And for everyone who eats this cereal regularly, those glyphosate residues accumulate over months and years of daily consumption, building up in your body silently. General Mills claims their products meet all legal standards. But legal does not mean safe. Legal means they found the loophole that lets them keep selling. The company that promised to protect your heart has been slowly compromising it, one bowl at a time, while collecting your money and your trust. Most people never learn how to fix this problem, but we will break it down at the end of the video with 2 alternatives that actually work. Now at number 7, we have Kellogg's Frosted Flakes. Tony the Tiger told you they were great for generations. That iconic growl echoes through every Canadian childhood memory. The promise of energy and vitality to start your day. Kellogg's positioned Frosted Flakes as the breakfast of champions, the fuel for an active lifestyle. Generations of Canadians grew up with that sugary crunch, and many still reach for it out of pure nostalgia. Here's what Tony never mentioned in those commercials. A single serving of Frosted Flakes contains 12 grams of sugar. That is 3 full teaspoons of sugar before you even add milk to your bowl. The World Health Organization recommends adults consume no more than 25 grams of added sugar per day for optimal health. 1 bowl of Frosted Flakes gets you almost halfway there before 9 in the morning, before you have even left your kitchen. But the sugar is not even the worst part of this story. Kellogg's cereals sold in the United States contain BHT, butylated hydroxytoluene, a preservative linked to cancer in animal studies and identified as an endocrine disruptor by health researchers. The Environmental Working Group calls BHT one of the worst failures of our regulatory system and includes it on their dirty dozen list of food additives every consumer should avoid. The Center for Science in the Public Interest classifies BHT as a caution ingredient that is unnecessary and easily replaced by safer alternatives that already exist. Here is what makes this particularly troubling for Canadian consumers. In Europe and Australia, Kellogg sells the exact same cereals without BHT. They figured out how to make them without this controversial preservative for overseas markets. But North American consumers, we still get the version with potentially harmful additives because our regulations allow it. For seniors taking hormone-related medications or managing thyroid conditions, endocrine disruptors like BHT can interfere with how your body processes these critical medicines. Your morning cereal could be undermining the medications keeping you healthy every single day. Do you think the government protects consumers? Or does it protect the food industry that lobbies them? Number 6 is Kellogg's Raisin Bran. This one hurts because Raisin Bran positioned itself as the healthy choice for mature adults, the grown-up cereal for people who take nutrition seriously. 2 scoops of raisins in every box. Fiber for digestive health and regularity. The box practically screamed responsible nutrition. Seniors especially gravitated toward Raisin Bran, believing they were finally making a smart breakfast decision after years of sugary alternatives. The reality is far less wholesome than the marketing suggests. According to the FDA's updated health standards, Raisin Bran fails on multiple fronts. It contains 9 grams of added sugar per serving. Those raisins you thought were natural fruit straight from the vine, they are coated with additional sugar before they ever reach your bowl. The cereal also contains surprisingly high sodium levels that push it well beyond what qualifies as a healthy breakfast option under current guidelines. But here is what most people miss entirely about this so-called healthy cereal. Raisin Bran is marketed as a high-fiber choice, and fiber is genuinely important, especially for seniors managing digestive health, cholesterol, and blood sugar regulation. However, the sugar content essentially cancels out the benefits you think you are getting. Eating Raisin Bran for fiber is like taking vitamin C while smoking a cigarette. You are fighting yourself, 1 bowl at a time. For seniors managing diabetes, those 9 grams of added sugar can cause the exact blood glucose spikes their medication is trying to prevent. Kellogg's knew you trusted the raisins. They knew you associated dried fruit with health and natural goodness. They used that trust to sell you a sugar-coated deception wrapped in fiber claims. At number 5, we have Lucky Charms. Yes, Lucky Charms still sells remarkably well to adults across Canada. General Mills knows this and markets accordingly. Those colorful marshmallows, that magically delicious tagline that never leaves your head, the nostalgia factor pulling you back to childhood. Many seniors keep Lucky Charms in their cupboard as an occasional treat, thinking infrequent indulgence is harmless. But occasional quickly becomes habitual, and the harm accumulates in ways you cannot see. Lucky Charms contains 12 grams of sugar per serving. That puts it in the same category as Frosted Flakes and Honey Nut Cheerios, 3 cereals that should never carry any health association whatsoever. The marshmallows that make Lucky Charms distinctive, they are pure sugar bombs with artificial colors that make them glow. Speaking of artificial colors, Lucky Charms contains red 40, yellow 5, yellow 6, and blue 1. These synthetic dyes have been linked to behavioral issues and hyperactivity in multiple studies. While these effects are most studied in children, Emerging research suggests artificial dyes may affect adults differently, potentially contributing to inflammation and oxidative stress that worsens with age. Independent glyphosate testing found Lucky Charms at 315 parts per billion, well above what scientists consider protective for health over the long term. This means every magical marshmallow comes with a side of probable carcinogen as part of the package. For seniors managing inflammatory conditions like arthritis, those artificial dyes may worsen symptoms and increase joint pain. For those with kidney concerns, the combination of sugar, sodium, and artificial additives creates unnecessary processing burden on already stressed organs. General Mills positions Lucky Charms as harmless fun for the whole family. But fun should not come with a cancer-linked chemical and a sugar content that rivals Halloween candy. If this helps you stay safer at the store, hit subscribe. It is free, and it means you will never miss these exposés that the food industry does not want you to see. Coming in at number 4 is Post Honey Bunches of Oats. This cereal mastered the art of the health halo, like no other product on the market. Oats right there in the name, which sounds nutritious. Honey, which sounds natural and wholesome. Those crispy flakes with little golden clusters that look like nature made them. Post marketed Honey Bunches of Oats as a satisfying, wholesome breakfast for discerning adults who wanted something sophisticated and health-conscious. The sophistication is all in the marketing department, not in the nutrition facts. According to the FDA's updated standards, Honey Bunches of Oats, honey roasted, contains 8 grams of added sugar per serving. That exceeds the 2.5-gram threshold for a healthy cereal by more than triple. The honey they tout so prominently on the front of every box, it accounts for only a fraction of the sweetness. Most of the sugar comes from added sugar, corn syrup, and brown sugar syrup mixed together. But let us talk about what else is hiding in that pretty box with the sunshine graphics. Post uses canola oil in Honey Bunches of Oats throughout the recipe. While canola oil is not inherently harmful in small amounts, the Environmental Working Group flags it as a potential source of trace trans fats and is typically derived from genetically modified crops. More concerning is what independent testing has found in oat-based products across the entire industry: glyphosate residues that accumulate with daily consumption over months and years. For seniors watching their weight, those 8 grams of sugar provide empty calories that contribute to abdominal fat accumulation, the most dangerous kind for cardiovascular health as we age. Post knew that putting honey and oats in the name would make you feel healthy every time you reached for it. They counted on you not reading the nutrition label on the side of the box. They bet against your vigilance, and for years, they won that bet. Why are seniors targeted with heart-healthy labels that hide sky-high sodium levels and sugar content that rivals dessert? Number 3 is Kellogg's Special K. This one might genuinely shock you because Special K built its entire brand around weight management and healthy living for decades. The Red Dress campaign, the challenge to drop a jean size in 2 weeks. Kellogg's positioned Special K as the intelligent woman's choice, the cereal for people who care about their health, their appearance, and their future. The intelligence was all in their marketing department, not in the product itself. Special K contains only 4 grams of added sugar per serving, which sounds reasonable until you check the sodium content on the label. At 270 milligrams per serving, Special K exceeds the new FDA healthy threshold of 230 milligrams. For a cereal marketed specifically to health-conscious consumers watching their waistline, that sodium content is nothing short of a betrayal. But here is what really undermines Special K's weight loss and health claim. Despite all the weight loss marketing and slim women in advertisements, Special K provides minimal fiber, typically around 3 grams per serving. Fiber is what keeps you full throughout the morning. Fiber is what regulates blood sugar and prevents spikes. Fiber is what supports digestive health and keeps everything moving properly. Without adequate fiber, you will be hungry again within an hour or two, potentially reaching for another snack and consuming more calories overall than if you had eaten something truly nutritious. For seniors managing high blood pressure, that 270 milligrams of sodium adds up quickly, especially when combined with sodium from other meals throughout the day. Health Canada recommends no more than 1,500 milligrams of sodium per day for adults over 50 to protect heart health. One bowl of Special K could account for nearly 20% of that entire daily limit. Kellogg spent millions telling you Special K was the smart choice for smart people. Smart for their profits, perhaps. Not so smart for your blood pressure or your waistline in the long run. Don't go yet. The solution comes at the very end, and it could change how you shop forever. At number 2, we have Kellogg's Corn Flakes. the original breakfast cereal, the classic that started it all. William Kellogg invented cornflakes over a century ago as a health food for sanitarium patients. For generations, Canadians have considered cornflakes the plain, sensible, no-nonsense breakfast option for practical people. Nothing fancy. Nothing overly sugary, just honest cornflakes in an honest box. That reputation no longer holds up to modern scrutiny. Cornflakes contains only 4 grams of added sugar, which seems acceptable by today's standards. But the sodium tells a different story entirely. At 300 milligrams per serving, cornflakes significantly exceeds the FDA's 230 milligram threshold for what qualifies as a healthy cereal. A cereal that tastes almost savory and plain contains far more sodium than many people realize when they pour their morning bowl. The fiber situation is even worse than the sodium problem. Cornflakes provides minimal dietary fiber, typically less than 1 gram per serving. For seniors needing 25 to 38 grams of fiber daily to maintain digestive health, cornflakes contributes almost nothing meaningful. You might as well eat the cardboard box it comes in. At least that would provide some roughage for your system. But here is the hidden danger most people miss completely about this classic cereal. Cornflakes are rapidly digested by your body, causing a quick spike in blood glucose followed by an energy crash that leaves you tired and hungry. This high glycemic response is particularly problematic for seniors managing diabetes or prediabetes. Your blood sugar goes up fast. Your insulin spikes to compensate, and within 2 hours you are hungry again and potentially hypoglycemic. Kellogg's built an empire on the simplicity of cornflakes and the nostalgia it represents. But simple ingredients do not guarantee simple effects on your body. Sometimes simple is just simply inadequate for your nutritional needs. Ever notice how the cheapest foods on the shelf seem to cause the most health problems over time? Coincidence? And at number 1, the cereal you should most avoid at all costs. We have Kellogg's Froot Loops. That toucan with his colorful beak has been lying to you for decades. Those neon colors that glow in your bowl. The fruity taste that contains 0 actual fruit of any kind. Froot Loops represents everything wrong with the modern cereal industry. A triumph of marketing over nutrition, of artificial over authentic, of profit over public health. Let us start with the sugar content that should alarm every parent and grandparent. Froot Loops contains 12 grams of sugar per serving, according to the nutrition label. That is nearly half of a child's recommended daily sugar intake in one single bowl before school. For seniors, excessive sugar consumption increases risk of heart disease, accelerates cognitive decline and memory problems, and promotes chronic inflammation throughout the body that worsens every condition you are managing. But sugar is just the beginning of the Froot Loops problem that nobody wants to discuss. The neon red, yellow, blue, and green colors come from artificial dyes, including red 40, yellow 5, yellow 6, and blue 1. A former FDA food chief publicly labeled Froot Loops the worst breakfast cereal in America due to these very additives. Red 40, responsible for that alarming neon appearance that attracts children, has been prohibited in several European countries due to alleged connections to hyperactivity and cancer in scientific studies. Here is the detail that should genuinely anger every Canadian consumer reading this. In Canada, Kellogg's now makes Froot Loops with natural colors derived from concentrated carrot juice, watermelon juice, and blueberry juice. Canadian Froot Loops look slightly different because they use actual food for color instead of synthetic chemicals. But American Froot Loops still contain all the synthetic dyes that Europe banned years ago. This proves beyond doubt that Kellogg's knows exactly how to make their cereal without controversial additives. They choose to keep using them wherever regulations allow, because it saves them money. Wait, there is more to this story. Froot Loops in the United States still contains BHT, that preservative linked to tumors in animal studies, and classified as an endocrine disruptor by health researchers. Canadian regulations pushed Kellogg's to do better here. But the fact they fought against these improvements for years tells you everything about their priorities and how much they value your health. For seniors taking any hormone-related medications, including thyroid medication, diabetes medication, or hormone replacement therapy, those endocrine-disrupting additives can interfere with how your body processes critical treatments. Your morning cereal could literally be undermining your prescription medications that cost you hundreds of dollars. Dr. Darren Detweiler, a former FDA food chief, told reporters that Froot Loops is heavily processed and contains high levels of added sugars, artificial dyes, and preservatives, all linked to serious health concerns in scientific literature. He noted that most people consume far more than the recommended serving size, because 1 cup is not a realistic amount for anyone eating breakfast. Froot Loops is everything wrong with breakfast cereal in one brightly colored box. It is the culmination of decades of corporate manipulation, regulatory capture, and consumer deception. Now, we have shown you 9 cereals to avoid at the grocery store. But here is what really matters. There are alternatives that actually work. Cereals that actually deliver on the health promises these brands broke. We are going to reveal 2 options that are worth your trust and your money. The first actual safe option is Nature's Path Heritage Flakes. This Canadian company, founded in British Columbia in 1985, represents what breakfast cereal should be and once was before corporations took over. Nature's Path is family-owned, certified organic, and non-GMO project verified. They do not use synthetic pesticides on any of their crops, so there is no glyphosate hiding in your morning bowl, waiting to accumulate in your system. Heritage Flakes contain 6 ancient grains that humans have eaten for thousands of years: Khorasan, wheat, quinoa, millet, spelt, oats, and barley. These grains provide complete nutrition with genuine fiber, plant protein, and minerals your body actually needs. The sweetness comes from a touch of organic honey and evaporated cane juice, not high fructose corn syrup or artificial sweeteners that trick your body. Most importantly, Nature's Path owns 5,640 acres of organic farmland in Saskatchewan and Montana, where they partner with family farmers to grow ingredients under strict organic standards. They control their supply chain from seed to shelf. When Nature's Path says organic on their box, they can actually prove it with documentation. For seniors, Heritage Flakes provides the fiber needed for digestive health, the complex carbohydrates for sustained energy throughout your morning, and the peace of mind that comes from knowing exactly what is in your food. No hidden pesticides, no controversial preservatives, no artificial colors. Just real food made by real people who care. The second recommendation is Post-Shredded Wheat Original. This might surprise you given Post's appearance on our avoid list with honey bunches of oats, but Shredded Wheat Original is the exception that proves the rule about reading labels. It contains exactly 1 ingredient: whole grain wheat. That is it. Nothing else. No added sugar, no added sodium, no preservatives, no artificial anything hiding in the ingredient list. Each serving provides significant fiber, helping with digestive regularity and cholesterol management that seniors need. The absence of added sodium makes it ideal for seniors managing high blood pressure who need to watch every milligram. The 0 added sugar makes it suitable for those watching blood glucose levels and managing diabetes. Shredded wheat's simplicity is its genuine strength in a world of complicated ingredient lists. With only 1 ingredient, there is nowhere for harmful additives to hide from you. What you see is genuinely what you get in every single bowl. The wheat provides natural sweetness from the grain itself, and you control any additions like fresh berries or a light drizzle of honey. For seniors concerned about kidney health, shredded wheat's low sodium content reduces processing burden on your organs. For those managing heart conditions, the lack of added sugar supports cardiovascular health over the long term. For everyone, the transparency of a single ingredient cereal eliminates the guesswork that makes other cereals so risky. Not all cereals are created equal, despite what the colorful boxes suggest. Some can spike your blood pressure, strain your kidneys, and fill your body with chemicals that have been banned in other countries. Others offer genuine nutrition with transparent ingredients you can trust. The choice is yours. But now you have the information to make it wisely. What is the worst cereal you have ever bought thinking it was healthy? Drop it in the comments below and share your experience. Subscribe now. And if you are watching on TV, tap your remote so you never get blindsided again.